we go on this Giving Tuesday. Nothing stopping the fog here either this morning.
No,
Yikes.
it does what it does. Good morning to you. That is a fog behind us.
Pretty thick layer there we're looking at. Wow.
Yes, let's take a look at more fog video. This is dense fog, and it's of course limiting visibility on the roads this morning. Look over here. This is a look from Kearney Mesa earlier this morning.
And we have team coverage for you here this morning. Evan Ronnie has more on the potential impact at the airport there, but let's begin with Netta. She has more on how long this fog is going to stick around here.
Yeah, good morning. So, you know, the morning hours when it's chilliest, we tend to see the most fog. And once the sun comes up, it warms us up, it will start to burn off, which is why 9 a.m. is usually a good estimate of when we'll likely start to see clearing. Right now, though, that's not the case if you are in Kearney Mesa. It is dangerous to drive through this. Right along the 52 and the 805, visibility a third mile, so you can barely see the signs off of the freeways. Imperial Beach also down to a third mile. That's when the dense fog advisory expires, 9 o'clock this morning, all due to these hazardous driving conditions. Here's a check of traffic for you, and you know, for now, just checking in through CHP, it does not look like any major incidents, but I want to take you right to where you see the yellow. That's where you see the gray in real life. So the road weather index lining up for right where visibility is down to less than a mile. So in IB all the way through La Jolla, going into Del Mar as well. But downtown San Diego, that's also stuck underneath the cloud coverage. So let's send it over to Evan, now live at the airport for us this morning. Evan, are there any delays?
Good morning. Yes, many delays and cancellations both into and out of San Diego International to kick off our Tuesday morning. No big surprise, of course, as many of the flights last night, once that dense fog developed, were diverted to Los Angeles International. So, of course, kicking off the morning with some delays and cancellations since those planes aren't exactly where they need to be to start off the morning. So a good idea if you have a flight into or out of San Diego to check the flight status before you head out. Keep in mind that dense fog did roll in last night. That dense fog advisory expires at 9 a.m. today, and you can really thank that dense fog for these delays and cancellations, with visibility limited down to about 700 feet last night. That dense fog advisory extends all the way up the coast of Orange and Los Angeles counties. The hope is that the increasing offshore flow could help to kind of scour the fog into the next hour or so, helping clear things up. But for the afternoon, breezy Santa Ana winds and dry conditions will be another concern to contend with. Now, we know we sound like a broken record saying it time and time again, but as you head out the door, if you are making your way to the airport, check your flight status beforehand. A majority, more than half of the flights that are outgoing this morning are delayed or canceled. So there is a good chance if you have a flight this morning that you are going to be able to see some impacts from the fog as to your flight status and your flight time. So important to check on that beforehand before you head to the airport. But of course, we'll keep you updated on the latest. Good place to also find out the latest is the News 8 app. You can head to your phone and find it out there. I'll send things back to you in the studio for now.
This variant is a cause for concern, not a cause for panic.
Well, the world is trying to learn more about the Omicron variant of COVID-19. The United States has banned travelers from 8 nations, including South Africa, where Omicron was first detected. The variant has not been detected here yet, but because of Omicron, the CDC is highly recommending boosters. They now say all eligible adults should get a booster shot.
Local doctors at UC San Diego believe the Omicron variant is likely here in the U.S., and now it's just a matter of finding it.
News 8's Chris Groh is joining us live from UCSD, where doctors are hoping to study this new variant. Good morning, Chris.
Hey, good morning, Eric and Stella. And again, a lot of people wondering, well, how do they figure that it could be here already? And that's just based on the odds. It's already been found in several countries, including Canada, our neighbors to the north. So again, the odds are that it has basically popped up or cropped up here as well, too. Now, the reason why so many people are worried about the Omicron variant is because there are still so many questions out there. So we don't definitively know the answers right now. Is it more transmissible? Does it make you more sick? Do our vaccines still hold up? Those are the questions that doctors, experts, and researchers here in the United States of America want to answer. Now, the answers could help us avoid or manage a surge in new COVID-19 cases. In fact, according to a UCSF doctor, there's no evidence yet that it shows it's more contagious than the Delta variant. Again, that was the really bad surge of COVID-19 cases that we saw happen, or that our vaccines are less effective against the Omicron variant. That evidence just not there yet. But In order to be certain, doctors at UCSD and other schools and other medical experts would like to get a sample to study it. That includes Dr. Davy Smith. Now, Dr. Smith told News 8 the goal would be to study it to see whether or not COVID medications that we have could work on it. But they also want to take blood from vaccinated people to see if it could still neutralize the virus.
I think that the vaccines will still be able to work to protect people from getting really sick and needing the hospital or dying.
Now, Dr. Smith says that the vaccines, again, as you said, he still has confidence in them. In fact, if you aren't vaccinated, he recommends that you get vaccinated as well, too. And then just like the CDC is recommending, he says a good way for vaccinated people to get that extra boost of protection is to get their booster shot. Eric and Stella.
Chris, thank you. San Diego City workers must be vaccinated against COVID-19 or risk losing their jobs. City Council passed an emergency ordinance for the requirement just yesterday. It takes effect tomorrow. Workers will have 30 days to prove that they are vaccinated. The city will provide medical and religious exemptions on a case-by-case basis. About 20% of the overall city's workforce is unvaccinated. That is about 2,000 people. Police officers make up more than a third of that group. Their union leader says a mass exodus of officers could lead to a public safety crisis. But the mayor says requiring the vaccine is a matter of public safety.
Tiger Woods is opening up about his future on the golf course. He did his first interview with Golf Digest since his horrific car crash back in February. Tiger addressed what he calls an unrealistic expectation of reaching the top of the golf world again.
I can still, maybe if my leg gets good enough, maybe kick off a tournament here or there. But as far as climbing the mountain, get all the way to the top, I don't think that's a realistic expectation of me. But I think something that is realistic is playing the tour one day, never full-time ever again.
Woods is hoping for at least a part-time return to the PGA Tour. Tiger will be in attendance at the Hero World Challenge in the Bahamas this week. The 20-man tournament benefits his foundation. Good to see that tee is still swinging the clubs out there. And if you were hoping to swing the clubs here this morning, let's push that tee time back to maybe lunchtime.
Yeah, maybe an afternoon tee time would be a good idea because, yeah, I don't know much about golf, but I don't think you'll be able to see the ball very well in this. Here's the view right along the Embarcadero. Yeah, that's actually what this is. You can see the lights right there reflecting a little bit over the bay. But, you know, right by the airport, that's not good for pilots, right? I mean, you can kind of make out the Coronado Bridge right there in the distance. But overall, our visibility, it's going to be tough to get around this morning. So downtown, it's 2.5 miles, which is actually better compared to Kearny Mesa. Right here around our station, it has been very low, near zero for a lot of our morning. Now, Imperial Beach down to a third mile as well. So those would be the trouble spots. Otay Mesa, it's starting to lift. And then you'll see here 10-mile visibility in Ramona, El Cajon, Miramar, North County, not so bad. So some spots you're doing fine. Actually in the clear, the further east you go, you see the dense fog advisory just west of the 15. So it's likely affecting the 5 and the 805 the most. The 52, certainly that's going to be a tough ride. That does not expire until 9 o'clock this morning. And then we will see that sunshine. We'll feel the warming of the day today. We still have high pressure in place, which is a big reason why we have all of this fog sitting down to the ground. Literally, high pressure is pushing the cloud coverage down, and that's why it's messing with our views this morning. So you can kind of tell right off the California Bight right there, that's the marine layer that forms, and that's what came in around sunset yesterday. It just started to roll right into town, and that's as soon as that happened, we started to see those flight delays. So overnight, of course, airport impacted, and then this morning as well. Here's that relative humidity. It's up there where the fog is. So you're in the 90s. There's a bit of mist, that really light drizzle. I don't think it's going to be measurable, unfortunately, but it does make the roads a little wet. Your car might feel a little wet as well. And then this view, it's pretty impressive. I mean, we don't see this very often. From Mount Soledad, you're looking toward the coast, and this is where we saw the clouds come right through up to Mount Soledad and then extending beyond it, of course. Also 55 degrees, by the way, for downtown San Diego. Some areas where it's clear, especially Ramona, you are now down to 38 degrees. So a chilly start where the clear skies are, a little bit warmer in downtown and in Chula Vista, where the clouds have have been hovering over you. Next 12 hours, you'll be in the mid-70s by this afternoon. So that's for the coastline. Inland, upper 70s, low 80s. Now it's time to check in on traffic. Typically, of course, when you see the fog, we worry about accidents happening. And for now, I don't see anything popping up on CHP, not on our maps and not on their website either. But as you see the yellow right here, the road weather index, it had stopped right in La Jolla, and it looks like that's where it's staying. Mission Beach, downtown San Diego, Coronado included, and then the Silver Strand all the way to the border. So if you're headed towards the port of entry at all, it will likely be very foggy there as well. Typically, we see that in a lot of these low-lying valley areas.